Hey everybody, this is Riannah Avora. I'm here with Ilyra Chardin. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the TheARTer.
Okay, and we are here today with Chuck Clipp, who's the artist, owner, curator of Sinful Retreat Angels Rest and Janus Gallery. I don't know, Chuck, if you want to tell us just a little bit more about yourself, about your art, and about your gallery.
Sure. So I'm a graphic designer, real life. I like to do digital, 2D work, but mostly in SL. I'm an old school Prem sculptor. I don't create that much these days. Most of my energy went to building the sim and running the Sims Sinful Retreat and Angels Rest, and getting people into the galleries.
What tools do you use to create other than Prems?
You're talking about my 2D work?
Sure.
Okay. I like pen and ink. I've worked in pastels, but my real love is digital painting and photoshopping and graphics.
That's very cool because I love that too.
So you basically, do you use a scanner or do you photograph your real life work and bring it in?
Well, the physical stuff, yeah, I scan. Although there were times where I did not have a scanner, and so I had to learn how to photograph them too.
Mm-hmm.
So I can do it either way. But the nice thing about digital artworks is I don't need to do either. Just upload.
Exactly. And you use Adobe Photoshop?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I tend to combine elements from Photoshop, Illustrator. I'll even, delve into other, Adobe products occasionally if I need certain effects.
Yeah, I also use Photoshop and some other tools as well. And I do both. Sometimes I do stock. I'll take a piece of stock photography to work with as a basis, and then do major changes to it. And sometimes it's my own photograph. Sometimes it's a photograph of something in my house, but it's pretty disguised, so I don't think it's really clear. But I did a photograph of these bottles that I have on a hemisphere window. I don't know what they're called. Half circle window that I modified, and then had to paint over it. So I wanted to ask Chuck, what are some of the and Riannah, actually, both of you, but starting with Chuck, what are some of the challenges that you've encountered as a curator owner of a very large gallery or art venue?
There's a couple of challenges. I think one of the biggest challenges can be egos. People, artists, musicians, they tend to have a vision that sometimes will work and sometimes won't. And it was a bit of a learning curve to learn how to say no in such a way that refocused their energy instead of denying them. Top of that, how do you get people in the gallery? Because an art show is not an art show unless people are looking at it.
Right.
So networking becomes absolutely crucial. And even with good networking, things happen. And 3 other events that you did not know about are happening at the same time as your event opening, and you just kind of have to be okay with 8 people showing up.
Yeah.
And there's no good way of telling what's going to happen at any given event. And it's something that Jewel and I struggle with every show, getting the word out. Because, I've had people IM me say, I didn't know about this show. Did you post notices anywhere? Yeah, I posted notices in 9 groups. I put it on our Sims website. I put it on Facebook. It's in the SL events calendar, and it's in 3 Discord servers. At that point, if you didn't see it, that's on you.
Yeah. I've had much of the same myself. It's competing with other galleries. It's not, well, I shouldn't say competing, but really it is. You're competing with another gallery for that time slot if you have things scheduled at the same time. And
Right.
it's tough. I don't like doing that. That's why I started keeping a Google Calendar, and you can look and see, and also posting the schedule like twice a week as a notice. What I've got planned. It's because I don't want to, I don't like scheduling things at the same time as another gallery because I feel like it shouldn't be put people in a position where they have to choose.
Same.
And that's
See,
hard.
What I would love to see, either amongst ourselves or out of SLEA or whatever entity wants to take it on, is a communal calendar.
That was what I was actually trying to do. I actually put the Google Calendar on an object and made it a HUD and sent it out to people. This was a long time back though.
Okay.
But it never took off. No one. It seemed like no one wanted to go to that extra effort. So then I just said, well, at least post your events in the UASL group so that I will know and you'll know mine.
But yeah, I would love to see way more collaboration amongst us curators.
Yes.
Nobody wins if we're competing against each other.
Exactly.
All it does is hurt the artists and the patrons, because then the patrons have to choose.
Exactly.
And maybe they want to go to both. Exactly.
Now, I agree with both of you. I mean, I have tomorrow. I have 3 different events that are running literally back to back and overlapping, and all 3 of them have friends of mine who are showing art.
Right.
And so I have this plan that starts at a certain time in the morning to be at, one event for an hour, although it's a 2-hour event. And then I have to leave that event. So I have to go to the other event and I'll have to be there for an hour. And then I have to leave that other event, which is also going to run for 2 hours, to go to the other, and it's like back to back. It's just, you can't cut yourself into like 40 pieces.
I know.
And I want to go to everybody's, I can't,
Yeah.
how do you divide yourself, up?
You can't.
Oh, listen, I've
it
gotten
makes it
completely
hard.
crazy. I've logged in multiple alts to technically be
At every event.
at every event. And just cycling between windows, answering, my friends' questions and trying to chat.
Wow.
And it does not always go well.
No,
And-
I'm sure it doesn't, because it's like, well, first of all, it's rough. The really big events that have a lot of people and a whole lot of meshes that are with 50
Lag.
gazillion triangles. Yeah, there's
Oh,
so
no,
much lag
forget
of
that.
just being at one, and then you have to be at 3 at the same time. I can't imagine it.
It's super simple. Show friends only.
Mhm.
Draw distance to absolutely nothing. Just go
Yeah.
by the chat
Yeah.
and the radar.
Yep. Chuck, what made you want to start your own gallery?
I took a break from SL for 5 years, due partly to, let's call it displeasure with the direction I thought the SL art world was going at the time, and because I had just moved in with my now wife, Jewel, in real life, and I didn't see the point in playing house in a virtual world when I had a real house. But come December 2019, I had a couple of weeks off from work, and Jewel had gotten very into SL again while I was at work. So for a couple of weeks, I logged in and I started to learn how to DJ and remake my Av and stuff. And then I decided to take a look at the art world, and it was a shade of its former self. My old stomping grounds were almost all gone. Of the many places I used to show, only 3 still existed and 2 were ghost towns. And I thought, this cannot stand. We need something new, something fresh. And I decided to make my own sim, my own gallery.
How many artists do you have showing at your gallery at a time, you think, on average?
We have 3 galleries on the sim. Each one hosts 1 artist per month. On top of that, we have 3D installations by, I think it's 17 artists.
Mm-hmm.
And then this doesn't get as much play as it probably should. But there are buildings along the street from the landing point. And 4 of them, I think it's 4, actually contain small galleries of artists who have shown on the sim, and I just decided to keep.
That's cool. Yeah, I from what I saw, you have quite a bit going on there. What all? You have 2 sims, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what's the other sim for?
More 3D installations and more of a focus on music events and particle shows, things that you really need a more streamlined sim for because of the amount of lag that will be involved. Low script. Yep. So Angels Rest is a highly optimized sim to allow for concerts and music events and particle shows and anything like that that's going to be super heavy with a large crowd. One of the other things that's on Angels Rest is a memorial. The centerpiece of it is Sharni Azali's Imagine Ballroom Fountain. And people can submit names that they want memorialized for free. I put up a candle with that name over it. It's just a good place to reflect.
Mm-hmm.
But as one of you said earlier, I've got a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yes and no. Things are shifting in the SL art world, in SL in general. Again, we've actually scaled back a lot of events so that we can get a better feel for where things are going and try to adjust. But the days of having pretty much daily events are just about over.
Like you, UASL has to constantly evolve with what is needed and what's the best way to provide for the artists. It's because I believe it's always changing, especially right now.
I was just going to say, one of the things that I see changing is how music is received in SL. We had a big focus on pairing artists with musicians that we thought would complement the work and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
The live music events are not what they used to be, and we're noticing a few things. There's a huge influx of new galleries, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
There's a huge influx of new musicians, which is cool. It also means that the market is getting saturated.
Right.
And everything is stacking up on top of each other, which means, okay, something's got to shift here. Somebody has to step back a little bit, stop trying to make everything huge, and just, show good art.
Right.
I agree. I agree with both of you. So it's interesting. I have a very small gallery, and I like it that way, Emergent.
Mm-hmm.
It's really secondary. For me, it's secondary to my desire to create and learn and do as an artist. And so I've had the same, and I don't think they're upset. We've had the same exhibition out now since I think I opened it at the end of January, and it's still going. and we still get visitors. We get I don't know, anywhere from 2 to 5 people coming every single day to the space. So it's not bad. One of the challenges I have, one of my biggest challenges is time.
Yeah.
But the other challenge is when I'm focused on it, and I'm going to need to do that. I'm still trying to, complete all the other commitments that I have, and then I need to line up, a next exhibition. But so one of the challenges I have when I start to do that is there are a lot of galleries, and there are a lot of challenges that the artists are facing right now. And so, do you find it difficult sometimes to get the artists when you need them, and to get them to be able to do what they need to do and on time so that it can open?
Okay.
It used to be harder, actually, but as people learn your routines and stuff, it's easier, I think. But
There are 2 artists out of everybody that I've shown that I've not had to chase down for the information that I needed to advertise them. Artists tend to be pretty flighty. They're not super organized and have everything nailed down, and you have to chase them.
mm-hmm.
Same thing with musicians, and sometimes their managers. Every show, at least 2 weeks before, I'm chasing people down for something. I'm making sure that things got on the calendar. It's a whole lot of background logistics, and because I'm also the graphic designer, a bunch of work on my end too. I make all the ads until I got Jewel trained up to start taking over some of the operations. A lot of it was on me. And I mean, it was a full-time job just to make sure that the weekly gallery events happened, that everything was as it needed to be. And because this is SL, there's also language gaps sometimes. And you tell people what you need, and they don't understand, and they send you something else. And you kind of have to work with it sometimes, because now there isn't time to get a new thing.
Right. You have to be able to change gears fast.
Yep.
And
I've had artists and musicians pull out pretty much last second.
Yeah. That's,
Wow.
Almost from the get-go, I started having kind of backup artists, just in case somebody pulled out, and made friends with musicians who I knew could fill in
right.
if somebody pulled out. And of course, because I also DJ, I started having Sam up and ready before every show, just in case.
Right. I know I've kind of had to give more time for exhibits at UASL to simply allow myself more time to actually do art, to actually create. I've had to space things out a little more, maybe reduce sizes of things, because yes, there is a lot of work involved in maintaining something like that. Making the textures for the invites, making sure the notices go out, on and on and on and on, and answering IMs and reminding people of this, that, and the other. There's a lot involved, so I can sympathize with Chuck on that.
So, as an artist, because again, I have a small gallery and I don't have the same experience that both of you have, but as an artist, one of the things that I noticed for me is that there is a lot more opportunity in Second Life for artists to display their work, whether it's 2D or 3D. There are a lot of galleries that are open, and a lot of opportunities for people to participate and learn and grow and develop and show. But that has to impact you when you're trying to run a large gallery, because do you find yourself competing not just with your events and when they're going when they're going live, but also with trying to engage the artists that you want to work because they're committed to other places or doing other things.
Schedules are tough.
Let me put it this way. In January, we had June booked. Almost from the get-go, I started to realize that people's schedules were not going to match ours in any way, shape, or form. And I started basically taking the dates I could get. You know, I'd give them, you know, you're going to be in the main gallery. That means you're the first Saturday of the month. What's good for you? You know? And with the 3D installations, forget it. It's taking months and months and months to get people who want to show there to come. Okay, look, if I got everybody who wanted or who said they wanted to show on our sim to come tomorrow, the whole sim would have to be rebuilt.
Right.
But I approached some of them in August of last year, and we're still waiting. So yeah, it's a challenge.
What advice would you give to somebody that was considering opening a gallery?
Don't. No.
Don't do it thinking you're going to make money.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. You're not going to make money at it.
No.
Hell, we lose somewhere around $700 US a month.
Yep.
You don't make money. Even if you take commissions from the artists, you won't break even. Not even close.
Right.
You need to do it for the love of it, and you need to do it right. You need to network with everybody, whether you like them or not. Like, you need to throw the whole idea of grudges out the window and try to make friends with everybody.
One of my biggest
making money at it.
one of my biggest problems when I first started was that I didn't know a lot of people. But I went to events and I got to know people and you know, and took it from there.
Actually, I have a curator friend. She's opening up soon. And that's what I told her to do. Go to events. Get to know everybody.
Right.
Because a lot of these artists, they don't trust anybody.
Right.
Because they've gotten burned.
Right.
And there's so many places, especially right now, where they offer you gallery space, and it turns out what it is a rental.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yes.
and that...
Or split commission. Or it's a small split commission, but it comes with a lot of strings attached.
Most galleries used to charge a commission, just like real-life galleries. But it was 25%, 30%,
Wow.
40% at the high end, okay? And that was a gallery where if you showed with them and it was, you know, a 40%, you knew they were bringing people, you were making sales. There wasn't going to be a loss on your end, you know what I mean?
Right.
But these days, people are using it mostly to make money, which is why we don't even try to charge commission. If you have a commission script and you want to give us a cut, that's up to you. But
Right.
we don't believe in taking money from artists.
Right.
They're broke as it is.
Right.
Can we talk a little bit about your art? I know we did in the beginning, but what do you think is the most meaningful to you piece of art that you've made, or maybe a few pieces of art that had the most meaning for you?
That's actually that's an easy question. I did a show. It was actually a 2-artist show at Art India, I believe it was. It was Inner Prisons and Escapes. My half was the Inner Prisons, and it was an exploration of mental health issues, what it's like to be mentally ill, and what it's like in a hospital and stuff. It was meant to be disturbing. I was actually a little bit too successful. I made a completely black room that simulated hearing voices. And it was apparently so well done, people insisted that a warning label be put on the wall next to it.
Wow, okay.
So, but it was, look, art for me has always been therapy. It's how I express the things that I don't necessarily have words for, but my brain can make images for. So that particular show was extremely cathartic. I managed to get a lot out that I needed to express at the time, while at the same time really allowing people to get an inside look at what it's like to struggle mentally, and it was a wonderful opening because people were disturbed, and there were conversations of people who suffered from various mental illnesses talking to other people who had not, and going, yeah, no, this is what it's like, this is how it feels.
Yeah.
So I think that was one of the most meaningful ones for me. So very early in my SLR career, I was reviewed by some big name blogger at the time, and they came to my show, they looked at my work, and the quote that sticks out in my mind is that my work was derivative crap.
Oh my God. Somebody actually wrote that?
Yes. And, okay, look, I was angry, I was hurt, I was upset, and I calmed my ass down, and they were correct. I was riding on the coattails of those who had come before me. I was not speaking my own mind in my art. I was emulating others, and I wasn't doing it particularly well. So I took a fair amount of time to stop showing and just create, and to better my work, and to find my voice. And I cycled through all kinds of different styles until I settled on something that was uniquely me and was my own voice. And I think that's a fairly common problem we have in the art world right now. People see art, think they can do that art. And they can. It's just that art has already been done. And then they wonder why they're not getting their playtime, their showtime, whatever. It's because it's been done.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to find your own voice and your own style.
Exactly.
And that's okay. If you can do that art, if you can make art that looks like that person's art, that means you can go out and make your own and find your own voice.
That means you have the skills.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got to put the creative to work.
Yep. Yes, you have the skill. Now let's see if you have the talent.
Right.
Because those two things are not, mutually exclusive.
Right.
They go hand in hand. You need to have both if you're going to be an artist.
Right. Yep.
I kind of, there's a bunch of people who, I know, and they're like looking, either they feel like, they want to make it in the real world, or they want to do art outside of Second Life, and, that kind of, and that's okay. I mean, that's okay. That's what they want to do. I have art in the real world. It's not what I'm doing right now, and I don't bring it in here, and it's not, and I'm not famous. Somebody asked me, like, are you a real artist? Yes, I'm a real artist. Are you famous? No, I'm not famous. I have like a couple of people, that have their, in like local shops here, or, people that I know that hang it, but I'm not famous. It doesn't make me any less real.
No, most people are not well known that are, they only know about you after you die.
Yeah, there you go. I don't want to be famous. No, my whole objective in Second Life is to learn, to keep learning and keep developing digitally. I'm really excited about it. I keep challenging myself. I play around. Like, if you look at my 2D art, it keeps evolving, changing. Yes. I keep challenging myself to do different things and experiment. Same thing with 3D. I keep pushing myself. I'm getting much better. They're like sculptures I look at, when I first started doing the 3D stuff compared to now, and how much I've learned, to take things and form them so it really truly becomes like, where the leg looks like one solid continuous piece. I don't know, whatever. That I've learned how to do, and I'm kind of proud of that. That's my whole reason for being in the Second Life art world. Is just to keep growing and learning.
Yes, I love that. Learning new stuff. As a matter of fact, just the other day, I was playing in Photoshop, and what I was able to do is create a texture, like white paint on a transparent background, right? Mm-hmm. And what I did was within Photoshop, able to turn that into something 3D. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because I love random 3D objects, and geometrical shapes and things like that. And it was really cool, and I'm so excited.
Riannah, is there one or a couple of pieces that touched you the most?
That I did. Tello and I built this really cool fish aquarium, and it's giant size. I don't know where I got the idea from. Honestly, it just came to me. Built this really big fish aquarium, and we made a little yellow submarine that you get in, and it takes you on a tour in the fish aquarium.
Oh, that's cool.
And the fish were swimming around and stuff, and I made the submarine crash and things like that. Mm-hmm. That's my art. I do photography in real life, and I've been known to write a lot too, and so it's really difficult to say.
For me, I think the most personal piece that I've done to date was the artist Copes, and it was a small sculpture that went in the middle of an exhibit. It was an artist figure working on things, and you could see the paintbrushes and paint and drawings and pictures of COVID all on the floor, the actual COVID molecules. And then through the windows there were two different pieces of art, the news, some of the things that were going on in 2020, and in the news section. And then the other one was an empty wheelchair, which for me was in 2020, I lost a parent. So I think to date, that was the most meaningful. I put a lot of myself into my art, but that one really, I think, touched me the most.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Do you create art on any other platforms other than Second Life?
Nope.
No.
The reason I just create in SL, and the reason I still stick with Prim sculpture, is because Prims are unique to SL. I mean, yeah, okay, look, I know I could export them and put them onto another grid, but no other grid comes close to this one.
Right.
Either stability-wise, population-wise, nothing. But So for me, that has made the Prim works here unique to SL, and I love that. It's a medium that doesn't exist anywhere else.
Right. For what it's worth, I still primarily build in prims, and at least to begin with, and then I might export, or I might bring in some mesh things from other apps like Gravity Sketch, but I'm not really big into Blender myself.
Right.
What do you think? If people knew it about you, they would be the most surprised in Second Life. You know, what would you say that would be? You know, what fact about yourself would people be the most surprised in Second Life to learn?
Hell. Okay, I think that because of what I do with Sinful Retreat, Angels Rest, the Janus Galleries and stuff, people probably assume that we have a lot of money. We don't. We live in a single wide trailer in East Tennessee. We work with what we have. It's just that we're good at various aspects of being in Second Life. I can make a lot of stuff. Jewel can write a lot of stuff. She's really good at networking. We work with what we have. And that's it. But the fact is,
So
we're
you're-
broke.
So you're not rich?
Not even close. Look, right now I'm driving for DoorDash to make extra money.
Hey, whatever it takes at this time. The name of your sim is Sinful Retreat. That kind of leaves a gray area to wonder what exactly that means.
Okay. It's a double meaning, okay? When we first bought the sim, it was for Jewel and I. It was our Sinful Retreat. It was our home.
Mm-hmm.
However, once I started looking back into the art world again, I realized that my retreat from SL was sort of my sin. I felt like I had abandoned the art world at the wrong time. Like, maybe if I had been here, I could have done something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe nothing as grandiose as Sinful Retreat and stuff, but something. As other galleries were closing, I could have been here to do something, and I wasn't. And I very much took that on my shoulders. And Jewel, who was never even in the art world until I came around, was like, yeah, let's do it. Like, you believe in this, let's do it. But yeah, no, I felt like I screwed up.
You didn't screw
Did I-
up.
Oh,
No, everything evolves. Everything goes in cycles, you know?
yeah.
So, and that's just the nature of everything, I think. What do you think is the most beneficial part about doing art in SL?
I think two things. For one thing, it allows you to create in ways that are not possible in the physical world, which allows for a greater form of expression. And for another thing, people might not like this, but I don't know many people in SL who aren't damaged goods in some way. We've all got issues of one kind or another. Family issues, mental issues, financial issues, whatever your thing is. So that therapy, that catharsis that comes from creating is received in a more meaningful way here. The pompousness of real life galleries doesn't translate to here as much as the, oh my God, yes, I feel that piece. I feel that too. And I think that's wonderful.
It is. It's great. I know when I get into creating a project and when I'm working on something, it's like my head goes to a different place, really.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that, and I just get in this zone, and that's when I do a lot of great things.
Mm-hmm.
Chuck, what question do you have? Give us one question.
What current and upcoming projects do you have? Thank you.
What current and upcoming projects do you have, Chuck?
I was actually going to ask him that.
Ah, damn it, guys! Come on, am I the only one reading the notes?
What current and upcoming projects do you have, Chuck?
Okay, so we're gonna see if this gets off the ground or not. But the end of June is the end of submissions for the Sinners and Saints show at Sinful Retreat and Angels Rest. Any artist, writer, etc., may submit 2 pieces, 2D, 3D, words on a prem, and should be 1 light piece, 1 dark piece. We've slated the entire month of July to show these works. It's all going to come down to response and whether or not people want to do it. Response has been spotty at best right now, but look, either we're going to have an epic show in July or a month off.
Mm-hmm.
It's all down to you guys. Aside from that, June is pretty packed
Cool.
with good art. We've got Zach Herman, Edda, and Patrick of Ireland.
Cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good month. But yeah, Sinners and Saints, submit anything you like, new, old, light and dark. Give me 2 pieces and a note card about them.
Ilyra and I would like to thank Chuck for hanging out with us today. Thank you guys for checking out our video or podcast, however you're listening in. Get on out and check out the Arts of SL. Take care now. There's information and links in the description if you'd like to know more about what we do.